The stress is insurmountable, but we do what we can do every day. That's all we can do.
As parents, all we want for our children is for them to be happy and healthy. With a smile like this, you can see being happy isn't a problem for Elliott Carter. But the healthy part? He has a rare condition that may never go away.
He doesn't have a lot of great options outside of us figuring this out.
Elliott Carter is 16 months old. There is a good chance that at his young age, he has spent more time inside of hospitals than you or I ever will.
Yeah, and to be overly simplistic here, Elliott's body is rejecting everything he eats. He has stopped growing, and the one thing keeping him alive is running out.
Tonight, Nick Monticelli introduces us to Elliott and his family, who have the courage to share their heartache, hoping to find support as they continue to hope to find answers.
The biggest problem is Elliott has two rare conditions, and most doctors don't even know where to begin. But just by watching Elliott, you would never know there is a slow race against the clock. Elliott Carter has a smile that doesn't just light up a room, it lights an entire home.
Girl, look at you. Give me that.
Which, under the circumstances, is remarkable. Elliott has two incredibly rare conditions, and Mom, Leah, knew the first time she tried to feed him.
Within 20 minutes, he started vomiting. By the time we got out of recovery and we got to our room, he was totally hypoglycemic, and they took him to the NICU.
That vomiting never stopped. When he was 3 months old, doctors finally realized underneath that hair and smile was a perfect storm. He was diagnosed with food protein-induced enterocolitis, or FPIES. He is allergic to protein, which is in everything. He also has mast cell activation disorder, so whatever food he might be able to eat, his body sees as a threat. And the reactions are severe. For example, Elliott once put a little piece of paper in his mouth. He reacted to a little bit of ink.
And within about 15 minutes, Elliott had thrown up so much that he was lethargic. Could barely pick his head up. He was just throwing up, almost unconscious.
Now Elliott has stopped growing. The only thing he can eat is breast milk. But with him being 16 months old, Leah isn't producing much milk anymore, and the nutrients in it aren't enough.
To know that your child is 100% dependent on you is scary. It's scary every single day. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. The what ifs. What if something happens to me? Who will provide for him? So the stress is insurmountable, but we do what we can do every day. That's all we can do.
Donors with children also on strict diets have stepped in and given milk, but again, the calories aren't enough for Elliott anymore. And instead of a popsicle, ice cream, or even crackers,
so we just kind of crush it, like really good.
Elliott's snack is crushed ice.
It's heartbreaking. It's really, we feed our kid ice cubes is what the reality of it is.
You've no doubt noticed Elliott's feeding tube. It goes directly into his small intestine. The thought is bypassing his stomach will reduce his reactions. It hasn't worked yet.
Getting the hang of it, bud?
In the meantime, life adapts. Instead of having his pump on an IV pole, Leah made a pump backpack.
I just bought like a little backpack online so that he could be mobile with it and not be hooked to like the IV pump. Say hi! He's not even fazed by it. Look at him go.
And for his first birthday, instead of a smash cake, he got a plastic cake and messy coloring.
Hey everyone!
Leah and her husband Dan are posting this journey on Facebook, hoping to spread awareness and maybe, just maybe, find a cure. Hopefully that cure will come quickly.
Our plan is to take the stomach and tack it up to the abdominal wall.
Last week, another experimental surgery, this time at Beaumont Children's. His doctor wanted to try a feeding line into his stomach.
You be a good boy. Love you.
In the waiting room, Leah and Dan have plenty of time to reflect, pray, and hope. Will this be it? Will this be the answer? They can also look towards the future. Will Elliott have a, quote, normal childhood? Can he play sports? Will he have a girlfriend?
Well, I'm pretty sure he'll get a girlfriend because he has beautiful hair. But I do worry about him not being able to like keep up and play sports and run around or be as tall, because everyone else in the family's tall and, you know, healthy and stuff like that. So I do kind of worry about that stuff, that he's not gonna, you know, flourish when it's time to flourish.
Days later, Elliot's body began rejecting the foods and the new feeding tube. So everyone, including his doctors, go back to the drawing board. The only option they can think of now is a line directly into his bloodstream.
But that's tremendously expensive, and there's lots of problems from having long-term big IVs, infection, and it's difficult for your liver to process. He doesn't have a lot of great options outside of us figuring this out.
I love you.
But they, Leah, Dan Elliott, and his older brother and sisters are determined to figure this out, because this little guy with this huge smile can teach us a thing or two.
Despite everything, he's just a happy baby. He has every reason in the world to be miserable, and he's not. And he teaches us about strength every day.
In New Haven, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Oh, just so heavy on your heart.
It really is heartbreaking. It's a miracle that he's alive, and even more so that he's such an extraordinary, happy spirit.
Kids are so resilient, though, and just that smile, like they said, just brightens up your room.
So extraordinary of their parents to share their story with us and with Nick.
We're wishing him the best, too.
Absolutely right.